Yo, yo, it's ZG. We got a special episode today of the Zach Smack Show. We got the founder of OddsJam, Alex Monahan, here with us today.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Pumped to be here.
What's going on, bro? I know we had a good time at the Hard Rock the other night. I had to bring you into the studio to give you a little taste of what Ben built here. And how do you think? What do you think of it?
I think it's amazing. You have a great studio. I can't believe you made this yourself, but yeah, I'm definitely more sober than at the Hard Rock.
Oh, dude, tell me about it, dude. I don't think I ordered one beer. I mean, I was every single time. It was a double fist. It was crazy.
Horrible.
We had
But
a great
everyone
time,
made
though.
money, so right?
Dude, we all made money.
You racked it up, bro. You were up like 6 G's, right?
I was up 74 until me and Jerry put 2,700 on one roulette spin after, and then pissed a little bit of away. But nonetheless, it was a great time. The founder of OddsJam, Alex Monahan. Tell me a little bit about your company, Alex. Give me a little bit of background about you. I know you said that you went to Stanford, big math guy. What made you start such a successful company that every one of my people, my friends, love so much?
Yeah. So I guess the first part of the question, what is OddsJam? What I kind of compare it to is like it's a Bloomberg terminal for sports betting, right? A lot of people think sports betting, they think, oh, you're like FanDuel. And it's like, well, no. We don't take bets, right? And we're also not a handicapper. We're not giving out picks. We're not selling you picks. What we're selling you is like access to data, a Bloomberg terminal, right? And I guess as context for how I got into it, like I always loved, gambling, poker, blackjack, when I was in high school, college. So then just kind of like, as I decided on the first job I wanted to take, I started to look into trading, which is really similar in many ways to sports betting. And the way I viewed it is like, damn, I could take a job in finance or at a bank, but it just didn't seem super exciting, or be a doctor or go back to school. So I ended up taking a job as a trader, which is basically you're just gambling other people's money if you work at a firm, right? Like you're setting lines, you're setting markets, you're taking orders, you're setting prices. Like you are quite literally just gambling other people's money. And then I started sports betting once it legalized in the US, like really seriously, because a ton of people I worked with were. And from there, just kind of saw like, damn, like when I'm at work, I have a $20,000 Bloomberg terminal per year in front of me, all this data, line movement, price movement, all these awesome things. And like as a sports bettor, there's like a billion different books. You got to go check them all manually. I feel like people would pay for this. I feel like people would want this, and I want this. Like I gamble a ton, right? So 2 years, I still had my full-time job. I was spending hundreds of hours every week gambling. Like I would get home from work, do all this, read about it, look into it, look at the FanDuel promos, DraftKings promos, everything, like straight on going crazy for gambling. And, I thought I was pretty good at it, obviously, because I did have a background in trading and understanding markets and data and probability. Like when I say I played poker, it wasn't like, haha, like let's go all in, like very mathematical, edge driven. So basically like that's kind of, I think after 2 years of just spending all my time sports betting and being so bored at work, I was like, damn, I want to do something in this industry, and ultimately decided to start OddsJam, which I think was like April of 2021, something like that.
So April of 21, you started it. At the time when you were betting, were you just gambling lines or were you arbitrage betting?
I was doing a little bit of both. I started arbitrage betting manually. I would literally check books and look for this manually.
Before any platform?
No software. Yes, I was doing this manually. And then there were some softwares that were crappy. There were some softwares in Europe that didn't have FanDuel, DraftKings, or they didn't have player props, like all this stuff. So there really wasn't a good one for the US, or even reasonable, mediocre. Like there was nothing that level. So I was doing a lot of this manually, and I kept thinking like, damn, this is super inefficient. This is a waste of time. But like I like gambling. It's fun. I think within a year of sports betting legalizing in Pennsylvania, there were already probably 20 sportsbooks live, maybe 15. So like every time you want to place a bet, if you want to be smart with your money, you have to check 15 different books manually, which book is offering the best line, or any books running promos, profit boosts, whatever. So I was like, this is super inefficient, and kind of started toying with the idea of maybe I should like take a shot and start this company.
Incredible, man. So for the people that don't know exactly what arbitrage betting is, can you explain from your perspective of what that is?
Yeah. So arbitrage is not unique to sports betting, right? Like in inefficient markets, it can exist, right? So I'll give you an example. Watches, right? Maybe you have a watch on eBay listed for 40K. I posted up on Amazon at 45K. I don't actually own the watch yet, but I know if someone hits me and I can buy it at 40, I can just flip it for 45. So I'm making a risk-free, assuming these things happen simultaneously, I'm making a risk-free 5K. Seems
Drop
pretty
shipping.
good. Right. And you hear about people, trying to flip watches, flip cars, arbitrage crypto, do these crazy things. But I think in sports betting, what's crazy is once the U.S. legalized sports betting, the Supreme Court in 2018 was like, okay, it's to the states. You can have online sports betting. Every company entered. Fanatics, FanDuel, DraftKings. Everyone has a sports book. WinBet, everyone. All of these books, they want to be unique, so they set their own prices, their own odds. Sometimes two books will have, such different odds that you can bet whatever, like Marlins on one book, Phillies on another, and guarantee a profit. So you are not gambling. You're just kind of taking the risk out of gambling. You're essentially buying the Phillies, you're buying the Marlins on two different books at two different sets of prices. And because these books have super different odds, you're guaranteeing yourself a risk-free profit. And because hundreds and hundreds of sports books have launched in the US, they all try to set their own lines. A lot of them are very small. They don't have big budgets. They're really bad at it. There's actually a lot of opportunity in arbitrage betting. There's a lot of money you can make. So I think that's what excited me at first and was important to me as I started to get my feet wet in sports betting. And again, the market is it really boils down to inefficiency, because is this worth your time if there's only two books and they both have pretty similar lines? No. But when 20 books launch in Pennsylvania, they all are trying to set their own prices. It's super weird. Some books you'll go to even right now, and if you look up the odds on, let's say, whatever, the Dodgers to win the World Series, some books will have them plus 200, other books plus 400. It's mind-boggling, because if I go to Binance or Fidelity or whatever, Coinbase, Bitcoin is the same price. It's 118.
Let me ask you a question on that point, Alex. Do you think that it could ever change in terms of where it's one line for every single book, or is it not possible?
I don't know. I've thought about it. It's weird to me that all these books, none of them really copy each other. Why do they care so much? But I think it's a lot of things. Books want to, first of all, have full ownership, right? FanDuel wants to set their own odds, or better example, DraftKings. DraftKings wants to set their own odds, be able to price any market they want, right? Any same game parlay they decide to add, they want to be able to do it themselves, so they in-house it. And honestly, I've asked that question. I'm it's weird. Why don't they just all have the same odds? But I think it's core to all of them. We own our full infrastructure. We are not relying on anybody. We can set our own odds. It's important to a lot of them. And honestly, I think too, it allows books to innovate faster. So I'll give you an example. Same game parlays. I know we're in Florida right now. Florida doesn't have FanDuel, but those are huge, right? You see SGP, same game parlays all over social media. That didn't exist because nobody knew how to price it until FanDuel started doing it. Mm-hmm. Then everyone rushed to copy them. But that gave FanDuel a huge advantage for 6 months, whatever it was, as other books tried to catch up. Because they had an advantage and they started to overtake competitors. People switched to FanDuel. They make more money, whatever.
So to your point on that, I'm sure you recently saw this about with FanDuel. Obviously, as you said, they were the first ones to offer that. And then, in fact, they were showing how many people place this wager, right?
Yeah.
I saw something the other day where if you're part of a big Discord group and you hit a big bet like that, even though they show you how many people place that and they're promoting it on their page, that they may not pay you out. You heard about this?
Yeah, I saw it.
How can that be?
I always have, look, I'm not going to say I'm a fan of the books, but I have bet on probably every single book you can name, every fantasy site. They all have reputations. You even take the kind of sketchy ones, right? If they just stole a fourth of their customers' money, right? Their $250 balances, whatever, they're going to get torn apart on the internet. People are going to realize, I don't know. I guess my point is have books been a pain in the butt to get money from? You actually need to upload your ID and fill out this form and give us a bank statement and a utility bill. And it's like, yo, this is like so stupid. Like I literally had to do nothing to deposit money into this book, but to withdraw, you're making me go through like 30 minutes of work. So, and sometimes they take a long time. I guess my point is I have never, and I bet on every book and fantasy site, I've never been stiffed by a book, except in one exception, when books glitch. If there's a small book, let's say the book accidentally posts, it glitches. Dodgers plus 20 million to win the World Series. It's like they literally can't pay that.
Yeah.
Right? Even if 5 people bet $100 on it, they would go bankrupt. Like, okay, it's clear and obvious error. So I've had that happen maybe like once or twice. But honestly, so I guess my point is, obviously, if it happened, it's horrible. I don't know enough to talk about it. To be honest, and it's the first I've ever heard of it. Like, I have bet flipped lines on FanDuel. There have been times, especially initially when FanDuel first launched their sports book in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, I think, was the second state to legalize sports betting. And I was living on the Pennsylvania-New Jersey border. New Jersey was first. So I was like I was probably the first customer on FanDuel. I signed up the first day it went live, their sports book.
What kind of promos they give you?
Dude, it was like, I think it was like a $500 risk-free bet or something like that they launched with. But regardless, there were times they would flip tennis lines. A minus 300 favorite would be priced at plus 300. They would flip it, and you could bet that. You could arbit, and they never voided it for me. This has happened dozens of times. Less so now. They've definitely sharpened up, gotten sharper. But initially, it happened a lot. So, and they always paid it to me. So, have I had a good experience with FanDuel personally? Yes. But obviously, I can't speak for stuff like that.
Right. Let's get back on OddsJam here. So going. Obviously, you created this platform. What goes into creating something like that? I mean, in terms of the development, how long did it take you? Basically that.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while. We actually worked with this smaller company that helped us with data. Getting the data feeds fast. And then we basically just ended up buying that company after we started printing. As we started to make more money, we ended up bringing that company, which, to be clear, this isn't I'm talking about some huge company. This was basically a guy, right? Who was really good with sportsbook data, who had an LLC. So we basically were just yo, we'll pay you some money and, come join the team. And
at the time, did you have a job, or were you going all in on this?
No, this was already all in on OddsJam. No job. Yeah, I quit pretty early. I mean, my dad, at the time was not super thrilled, but I think I don't know. I heard this once, and it's so true, is you can only have so many shots in your career. And by that, I mean let's say we live to be 80, who knows? I don't know. I'm almost 30. You're probably younger than me, but whatever. The point is no one wants to work from 60 to 80, or you're not going to be grinding, starting a startup almost certainly at 60, some high tech. Why? You're 60. You know what I mean? So I guess my point is, it's kind of like relationships. You can't have 5-year relationships with 5 different people. If you're serious about someone or you're not serious, you don't have that many opportunities to have serious relationships. So you need to be very thoughtful. And I thought it was the same thing in terms of my career. Damn, I really love sports betting. I really do think this is a good idea. So it does seem like the right shot to go all in on. Whereas there were other business ideas that crossed my mind at points, but it was always I honestly would rather keep my full-time job because this doesn't seem perfect for me.
Right. In the time when you were creating it and everything was happening, was there doubts?
For sure. I think I had doubts about a few things. One, if people cared. Two, about just the regulatory path.
Sure. Was that extremely involved? I'm glad you brought that up. Getting everything cleared with
or not
patents and all that stuff?
No, not that as much. More there were, when we started the company, maybe 2 or 3 states that had legal online sports betting. Most of the apps nowadays didn't even exist, the Prize Picks of the world, or they were very early and not really on the map. So it was what if gambling's bad? It gets so much negative press. It's what if states don't do this and continue to legalize it? Now it's in New York, everywhere.
Almost everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Virginia, my home state, it's so many places. Whereas, I mean, I think you get my point. That was scary. competitors were always scary. And then
Let me stop you on competitors real quick. When you were starting this, was there anyone doing it even on a way smaller scale than you?
yes,
There was.
yes,
What happened to them?
we bought them.
Every one of them.
No, I would say there was one good one, or one we actually were worried about.
And you acquired them completely.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
But like a little bit later in the business, yeah, it was like a one-man band kind of thing. It was like a dude who built this site. He was making not a ton of money, right? So I think it was just like we were like, he's pretty smart, he's pretty good. He doesn't, maybe like we can help each other and like probably help him make more money because we can throw marketing on and like we can really help. But anyway, so again, to be clear, like I feel like when people think about, oh, you acquired a company, it has to be some big number, like OddsJam was acquired for XYZ. But like sometimes there's literally a dude with an LLC who you need, and it's like, yo, you're great, but I don't want you working with other people. I don't want you trying to do other things. Like I want you on my team, and like I'll pay you a lot of money or just more money than you're making, or give you some upfront money to do that. So because I feel like so many people are like, you acquired, all these big companies, and it's like, no, none of them were big, all very small. Yeah, I forgot the initial question, but
No, that's cool. And then it leads me to my next thing. Like, after you guys became what you were, and obviously well known, right? Was there any other company trying to replicate that? I'm sure, right?
sure. I mean, there still are competitors pop up all the time. Like I even see like pitch decks of companies coming out in like Y Combinator. It's like, oh, to become the next OddsJam and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
I think people follow always success. You look at Prize Picks right now. How many fantasy apps are there in Florida?
Dude, it's crazy.
It's countless. And if you really, I mean, obviously some are more well known than others, but there has to be at least 12 smaller books. So I think like people a lot of times try to copy, and that's fine. Like, like I don't have a problem with it. Like I guarantee you right now, the amount of people who are studying like Kai Cenat and, just trying to replicate everything he's doing, like for sure. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. You want to learn from people
Sure.
above you. So I don't mean that in a bad way when I say copy, long story short.
No, of course. And what is next for OddsJam? Anything happening? Like, what happened exactly with the company that you're at now? You're still working part of it, or?
Yeah. So the company was acquired last December, and the way it works is like we got money up front, me and my co-founder, and then, the team, and then we get some more money depending on financial targets this
Sure.
year. So, yeah, I mean, kind of grinding. I really like the acquiring company. It's a public company called gambling.com. They own RotoWire, kind of all these sports betting products like gambling.com, poker, casino. They own a bunch of different stuff in that. So it's been good so far. No complaints.
That's amazing.
But what's next? I mean, I love sports. I love sports betting. I still enjoy my job, right? I think that's important. Like, it's a Saturday night. I'm happy to be here. You're happy to be here. Like, work doesn't always have to be painful. Like, I feel like so many people are like, oh my gosh, like, why aren't you blowing money now? Like, and it's like, well, like, obviously, like, started this company because I liked it. I like sports. I like gambling.
Sure.
That's not fake. I'm not making that up, that I gamble a lot. Like, these are things that are kind of core to me and I enjoy. The same way, like, I guarantee you, these top streamers enjoy streaming, or at least initially. Maybe at some point it becomes a drag, but that's kind of the general premise.
That's super cool. What's your favorite sport to bet on right now?
Right now, like in season?
No, in general.
NBA.
Really?
I do like
My least, brother.
I do like the NFL. The problem is frequency of games.
Sure.
When it's NBA season, a Tuesday, you're gambling, you got fun things to watch, like life's good.
Sure.
Wednesday, same thing. I think that's what's frustrating a little bit with football, in my opinion. It's just like velocity of games.
Sure. I mean, the only thing I could say about that, I feel like personally, it's easier to get a read on a team that's playing 17 games versus 82. And I feel like there's more ways to do a lot more research. I mean, obviously, when you're playing, for example, let's go to MLB, right? You're playing 162 games.
Yeah.
The best team in the MLB wins 100 games, loses 60 games a year, right? And that, I mean, I'm talking about if you're betting lines and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're betting props, it's different. But in terms of that, it's so hard to be correct in long term with that, in my opinion.
Well,
What do you think?
I think it's very similar to just like probably my mindset with like poker and stuff, right?
Sure.
Which is like
You a tournament player, by the way? Tournament player or cash player?
No, I mean honestly, I played a ton. I had to learn it and like play at my previous company, which is called Susquehanna, like the trading firm.
Yeah.
They're a big believer, like gambling strategy. They would try to expose you to like poker, sports betting, like understanding, because it's all the same stuff. It's risking capital, making appropriate bet sizes, knowing when to back out in like a mathematical way. Like the best poker players, like it is very mathematical. It's not just like 24 grand, right? It's like
Pot size bets,
right,
half pot. It's all that.
exactly. So I think what was the initial question?
Now I'm tripped up.
What was the question?
That's what I'm here for.
There we go, Ben. Let's hop in.
So you asked, oh no.
Well, Ben, how about this? How about this? You have a question?
remember.
You had this favorite
I
sport to
remember.
bet on.
I
and you were-
remember.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, like, right, you could have pocket aces, and if someone goes all in on you, you're going to go all in, and they could be 2-7 and then flop like quads, right? Like, that sucks, but, like, that's going to happen.
Sure, but you're highly favored. I mean, of course. I mean,
Sure,
that's the risk.
But I think it's the same thing in betting on baseball, right? There's any sport you bet on, there's a risk. There's not a plus 300 team that's favored to win.
No.
They're plus 300.
100%.
So I think my point is just like, if you kind of like take your emotions out of it a little, follow the data, look for good lines, you can get an edge on any sport. I bet on tennis. I will bet on KBO, Korean baseball. I bet on every sport you...
Korean baseball at 3 a.m. What's better than that?
Dude, exactly. Especially during COVID, man. Like,
Waking
I
up
feel
to
like-
piss at 3 a.m. betting on
Exactly.
Korean baseball.
Not being able to sleep. Exactly.
No, that's amazing. Ben, you have any questions for Alex? Anything? I know you've been listening.
No, I mean, it's really cool to kind of see what you guys have been doing and to see what you started. It's really, really interesting. I mean, did you always have a passion for this?
I mean, I would say like the stages I've heard about gambling, which I would say are pretty true, is like as a kid, I played sports. You have some realization that like, you know, you're not that good at sports. At least for me, right? Like when I was 8 years old, it's like, I want to be in the MLB, like idolized Derek Jeter,
such a fact.
idolized. And then it's like, damn, I'm not that good at it. So I still like sports. I watch sports. But yeah, I'm not, you know, I wouldn't, like, it's like, I'm not gonna, you know, be on a team with Christian McCaffrey or something.
You're saying the exact same thing as me, and I realized that very early.
So I think I realized I liked gambling in college. Like I enjoyed jobs that were interesting in that way, where it's like risking capital, stuff like that. Like I toyed with like maybe, you know, if I just study poker and 24/7, I could just do that full time. And my dad was just like, no, like get a job. So I took my job, and you know, so I would say I always liked sports since I can even remember. Gambling probably started in college more, because I think in high school it's just like you're not really exposed.
Yeah,
to
you're
it.
you're going to a house game. Everyone's buying in $20, and
my dad's very anti-gambling in general, so like he did not expose me. He's the type of guy, and I love my dad obviously, but like, you know, very safe, like treasuries, be very safe with money, no high risk, high reward, like, you know, that type of stuff. So I
he's
think
proud now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
That's amazing, man. Anything else that you want to tell the viewers about Odds Jam before we get out of here?
Honestly, not really. I think the only thing is like if you want to gamble, like, I mean, I tell people this all the time, but just don't bet a lot at first. I tell that to people who start trading too, because I used to be a trader and we made money at the trading firm. We made money on long term with like a sample size of customers who have made, you know, 100 plus trades. Like 99.9% of people on their Robinhood account, I'm not talking about investing, to be clear, put your money in the market and save forever. I'm talking about like day traders.
Sure.
Right? Like buy in and out. Like 99.9% lose long-term to market makers like investment banks and trading firms. So I think the point I have for a lot of people is just like start small. Like you can even bet a cent, $0, and just like track, see how you're doing. Right? Because then, like, if you are good, that's how I started, right? When I left college, I didn't really have money. A bankroll, was betting like a couple bucks, after, you know, and like, as you start to see, damn, I had like a 12% ROI this month, you know, then you can start to ramp up. The same way, like, I'm not stupid enough to show up to a poker table in Vegas, put in 50 grand and be like, let's play. It's like, no, like, you know. So you want to get comfortable and make sure you have an edge over a large sample size, whether it's trading, sports betting, whatever. Yeah, that's the only thing. Because, dude, I feel like every day it's like I'll get a DM on Twitter from a guy who's like, yo, been watching sports all my life, hammered this random team I thought I knew was going to win for $3,000. And it's just like, dude, like, you don't even understand odds. You got this team at minus 130 when they were minus 105 on other books. Like, you don't even get the game you're playing, bro.
Right. And I think, and honestly, dude, I think that just comes down to, people not knowing. I mean, you can say this in anything in life, right? I mean, kids get into betting, right? They're like, oh, LeBron James over 24.5. And of course the books are going to juice the shit out of that line.
Yeah.
Minus 130, Luka Doncic over 31.5 points. It's like, because people are going to bet their favorite players.
Yeah.
And that's why the books are raking so much. And like you said, people don't understand lines. People don't look at gambling for that. They look at the thrill, you know? And I think that it just comes down to, risk management, being smart with your money. But that's a whole nother.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, another point there, I guess, is just like, will I play blackjack? Even if I think, like, do I actually have an edge? Am I counting cards? Like, no, right? Like, I'm playing blackjack, like, or roulette. It's a negative EV game. It's 50-50 to land on black or red, right? Like, it's that simple. Like, you are losing 4% of your money long-term playing roulette. There's no way to rig it. Like, that's just a fact. You may disagree, but
no, I definitely don't disagree.
So
the way it happened last night, I definitely don't.
So it's like, it's entertainment, and like, I think if you're betting $5, it's a different story. But there's so many guys, everyone's into this get rich quick thing nowadays, where it's like, yo, I just need that parlay I can bet $1,000 on to make $1 million. And it's like, it's like, if you're only doing things for entertainment, you're not betting a lot. It's different. But I'm mainly talking to, when I say all this, like, the people who like take it really seriously, they're gambling money they don't actually have. They're gambling money that should be applied to, like, whatever, their education or like their daughter's college fund or whatever. Because there's so many of those people as well.
Now, going back, what advice would you give to someone that's maybe in college right now, that's going to go get a job that maybe they don't want to do, that they want to start a company and they don't know the direction to go? What advice would you give someone like that?
Yeah. I think number one is, like, it's not embarrassing to have a job. Like, I feel like when I took my corporate job, so many people of my friends tried to do cool things and I'm going to start my own online business. And, like, don't get me wrong, that's awesome. But, like, sometimes a steady paycheck, you're actually learning. You're learning from really smart people, depending on the company you're at. You're getting connected. Like, that's good. And, like, will benefit you a lot more long-term. I never would have been smart enough at gambling, markets, technology, if I didn't join this trading firm to start OddsJam. I was only there a couple of years, but, like, I mean, everything I learned in those 2 years was extremely important in OddsJam. 0% chance I would have started this company or, yeah. So without it, I think, like, number one is, so many people want to rush into, like, oh, I just have to do my own thing. It's like, I don't think that's necessarily true. It's good to learn from smart people, even if you're not getting paid a ton. I'm not saying be an unpaid intern at $0, but you get my point. I think that's important. And then I think too, it's like, you just don't have a lot of shots. So obviously make sure it's something you like, and also make sure it's something you have an edge in. Like, dude, I have friends who, oh, I want to start a law firm company online, like tech. And it's like, bro, you're not a lawyer. Stuff like that. Like, it's like, find something you have an edge in. And like, young people,
that's great.
You like gambling, you have an edge in it.
Alex, I had one more question for you. So I know Zach usually goes and asks this, but I'm pretty excited. I want to know what you guys, what was your biggest loss and biggest win in gambling?
Yeah. I mean, in one bet, I think my biggest loss probably this year was like Bills against the Chiefs. I think I lost 35 total, if you include the spread and the...
Wow.
Yeah.
So, oh man.
Super Bowl, though, I kind of gained it right back, but not fully. And then I did have, it was kind of different bet slips, but I did have a night on Better where a couple different parlays hit and netted 4K into 60. But it was like a few different bet slips because they only let you bet a max of like $1,000 per play. It's like a DFS site in Florida.
Oh, they have to accept the wagers, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would just like add in another leg or switch things up a bit.
So you made 56 profit? 56. Yeah. Wow.
That was big.
Super
Bowl was big, and I was at the Super Bowl, but honestly, it was so insanely a little boring because like I kind of wanted a little bit of a sweat.
You were there in Vegas last year?
Yeah. No. Sorry, in New Orleans this year.
Oh yeah.
Eagles.
I'm bad. I'm tripping. It was in Vegas
like,
the year before.
Yeah, I had 30 on the Eagles, and I was like, damn, like if I lose this, I'm gonna be down like 65K this year off 2 bets. But then, I mean, it was obviously a blowout from the get-go, which was nice at first. But then it was like, damn, like kind of boring game. Like
I got murked on that game, dude.
Weird, dude. Football's so weird. I mean, Bills, Ravens, like it's always, I don't know, man. It's weird. Hindsight's always 20/20, right?
Of course. I mean, the Ravens are just an unlucky team, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex, where can they find you on social media? Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah, kind of everywhere. I stream Alex Monahan 100 or Alex Monahan. I don't even know. Instagram's Alex Monahan. Twitter's Alex Monahan 100. Couldn't get my name. I wish I could get my name, but maybe another day.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you so much for being here,
Thank
bro.
you
It's
for
a
having me
pleasure
on.
having you. Thank you, Ben.
We'll see you at Hard Rock.
Oh, dude,
maybe
100%.
sometime soon. I'm definitely going to be spending more time down here.
Yeah,
maybe
dude.
When it's less hot.
Whenever you're here, we're there. If not, we're in fucking Vegas, baby.
Go.
Wherever you tell me we're going. Shout out Podcast Junkies. Shout out Ben Castro, longtime friend of mine. You want to get your podcast film, come down to Podcast Junkies, South Florida, Boca Raton, in Meisner Park, and come see my boy Ben. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. With ZG, Alex Monahan, Odds Jam founder Alex Monahan, thank you so much. It's your boy ZG. It's been real. Take care.
Okay.